The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Friday, the second day of May 2025. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy. I'm Jamel Hartman, and Teo Dill will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in the news break brought to you by People's. Normally, I would come in and I'd be smiling and happy, and I would say, it's Friday, happy Friday. And, for most people who work a traditional Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, this is their favorite day of the week. It's also what we like to call Friday Fun Day, brought to you by friends at Mailboxes. Unfortunately, some things happen overnight that don't involve any of us directly, but it is a small community or small town or an extension of us. And we fortunately or unfortunately have to address these things head on. I woke up about 2 hours ago after having finally gotten sleep early enough to feel good in the morning, and my phone was blown up with people sending texts and messages about events that happened overnight. And you don't, I've said it before, whether it's Maya, Teo, Simone reporting on tragedies on our roads or violence, we don't want to talk about this stuff. But as a community program, we have a duty to address it. So we will be discussing what happened overnight today. But I must say still to everyone, happy Friday to you, and thank you for joining us. Greetings to you. And thanks for making us part of your daily routine, a good one today. I hope as we bring and welcome Keishae Robinson on from Bleach by Keisha. She is doing a phenomenal job, hoping to brighten Bermudian smiles. And I'm looking forward to hearing her story and how she can help each and every one of us, even on our darkest days, brighten up some rooms. The Daily Play is a things you should know, And don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. All right. Well, most of you, like me, likely woke up to some disappointing news this morning. And Teo will go into more detail, but reports that I've seen that there were 4 people injured and 2 people now deceased from violence that took place in the west end of the island. And the question's very simple, and I hope that everyone is courageous enough this morning to have a very public conversation about this. How do you feel about the violence that occurred overnight in Bermuda? How does it make you feel? I'm not asking what can we do. We've asked that a number of times, but how does it make you feel knowing that this was never a norm in Bermuda? But like alcohol, which we spoke about earlier this week, this has almost become a norm that we've accepted. But how do you feel? How does it make you feel? How do you feel about what happened overnight? Suzanne Ingham says, "My heart is broken over this. I truly feel for these families. Miss Ellen Kate Horton said, a very sad situation, little or no sleep last night, too close for comfort, big concern for our little island. And yes, forgive me, and sincerest love and comfort to the families of the victims and all those impacted by this latest act in our very small community. How do you feel, the audience? How do you feel? It's weird because I've lost so many people who I either grew up with, went to school with, through violence, and it hurts. Like, I think the hurt for me didn't always come right away. It was never really instant. It hurts over time, especially when you see their children growing up without them. And I've lost a parent, and I lost a parent at 40 years old. I lost a parent, um, not due to the senseless acts of someone in an instant. So it hurts for me when I see young children, the innocence of them being taken away from the acts of people within our community. So how do you feel, audience? How do you feel about the violence that occurred in Bermuda overnight? We've got Rosalind Famous is right now, I'm feeling angry. Shamari Sky said mass shooting in Bermuda in same sentence is crazy. But do you remember I said this last year? And I did reach out, and I don't think I got a response, but there was a shooting like this last year in Bermuda, in Middletown, where 4 individuals were shot. None passed. But I had asked, is this the most people who have been shot in one instance in Bermuda? And I didn't get an answer. But we all went along with our lives as if, okay, it happened. Now let's move on. I agree with him. Mass shooting in Bermuda in the same sentence. And for those who don't know, I believe in the United States, a mass shooting is described as where 4 or more people are shot, excluding the shooter. All right. So a single incident, same general time and location, where 4 or more people are shot. That's happened. I believe that shooting last year happened around the same time, April, May. And now we have another one where, unfortunately, 2 people passed. How do you feel? Nika Peace says, sickening. Marquita Lee says, my heart aches for these families. Condolences to the family and friends. Karen Simmons says, I'm afraid and saddened that these families are going through this. Adeline Swan says, I'm feeling subdued. Shonat Bell says, my heart goes out to the families. A very sad situation. Renee Simmons says, what happened last night? Never heard about anything. And Teo will share more during his news break, Renee, but there was a shooting that happened in the west end of the island last night where 4 people are reported to have been injured by gunshots and 2 people deceased. If I'm understanding correctly, one may have been a woman, but I don't. I'll wait on Teo to provide more insight on that. Nika Peace says it's become such a regular occurrence that we are desensitized to it to a degree. I don't like to tell people how to feel. I don't know how, we all react to things differently. But my hope is that we all feel something and are not desensitized. My hope is that whatever it is that we feel, we're surrounded by people who want and can do something to ensure that this doesn't continue to happen. Again, folks, this is supposed to be Friday Fun Day. What kind of individual would I be as a host of this show to discuss anything else outside of what occurred overnight? This is not what we want to discuss. The Premier of Bermuda is about to read his budget statement for 2025-26 today. We have an awesome guest on today in Keishae Robinson about brightening our smiles and what she's doing to help people regain confidence. These are not the conversations we should be having. I say this not to be a Debbie Downer, but none of us will escape death. None of us. All of us, like it or not, will have our day. But there's something unconscionable. There's something that should bother all of us as a community. When we have people who don't seem to understand that when you take a life, it's not like taking someone's money or candy. See, money can be replaced. Candy can be replaced. Life cannot be replaced. How do you feel this morning, waking up to such disturbing news of what would be considered a mass shooting in the United States of America, which is probably more of a common thing? Shana Smith says, I felt sick to my stomach. There's so much grief on this island. Charles H. Jefferson II says, I feel sad that as a community, we don't feel the same as we did in the early days of gun violence in Bermuda. We all feel sad now, but later today or tomorrow, most of us will go on with our lives. And that's it. We've said it on this show numerous times. Many times. We've spoken about this. That there's an immediate anger or we have immediate emotions, and then before the person is even buried or at a funeral or a memorial, we've moved on with our lives. This is not normal, or at least it shouldn't be normal. Something has to change, man. I had a good sleep last night and woke up to one of my good sisters and colleagues basically saying, I guess you're asleep. My phone reset, had an update. So by the time I woke up, I had to, do all that stuff to turn on. And I saw all these messages. And I just why? It's my first question. Why? And I've been very transparent with you all. I've been very transparent. I am a gun owner. I am a registered gun owner. I have taken training. I have an instructor. But the object is not to go and just hurt people. It's to protect yourself. There's education with this. This is not a good state for our island to be in. This is not a space where we should feel comfortable going on with our lives when things like this are happening in our spaces and around us. Let's go back to the audience. Karen Simmons says, to wake up to this type of news, my first feeling was sick to my stomach, instant headache, and now afraid for my own safety. Kelly Clark Medeiros says, condolences hold no merit for the family and friends of the people attending a local establishment who are not here this morning. Senseless and scary. The unsolved murders on this island is not good, and people need to speak up. We all need to stop this. I want to address that. I said it last week, I believe, that of the murders that we had in Bermuda last year, I don't remember the number, not one person has been charged. Now, in one situation, the person who was deemed responsible, I believe, by the Bermuda Police Service was not able to be charged. But no one's been charged. And that should be just as upsetting to us. Because without consequences, it's like the Wild Wild West. Again, I don't want to talk about this stuff. But as the show who have taken on the responsibility of discussing news, it's something we have to do. Renee Simmons says, wow, saddened and shocked. What's going on in the Wild Wild West? That's crazy. Nicole Walker says, I felt great until you shared this. Things like this leave you feeling shocked and helpless. And for those personally impacted by prior gun violence, it reopens old wounds. Prayers for the families. You know, in the United States of America, when things like this take place, the politicians usually make these statements and they say prayers and thoughts and prayers and things like those cliche statements. I feel like Bermuda, we're there. And that's a crazy place to be. It's a crazy place to be. The day we get to that space, thoughts and prayers, tells me that we have truly lost our sense of community. We've got to bring Teo Dill in for Daily Hour News Break. This was your daily discussion brought to you by our friends at Titan Express and Secure Trucking. Let's show them some love.
The daily discussion is brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. Visit TitanEXBDA.com, your leading tour and transport provider specializing in Black History tours throughout the island. And SecureBDA.com for all your property management, waste management, residential, and commercial trucking needs. Professional, punctual, and reliable service is our...
Alrighty, welcome back to the big show. Let's hit his music and bring him in so he can give us more details about what transpired overnight.
Hey, morning, Jay. Morning, fam. As I'm sure you can appreciate, it is much too early in this process to have all that many details available. It's the night after this thing. But as you've laid out, 4 people were shot last night in Somerset. 2 folks are dead. 2 are injured without current clarity as to the status of those injuries. So, heaven forbid, but that 2 number could increase in the coming days. TNN's Trevor Lindsay was on the scene, capturing this on the live interview with Inspector Derica Burns of the Serious Crime Unit in the immediate aftermath of the horrifying incident. She lays out everything that is available for us to know at this point in the process.
10:30 p.m. this evening, the police received reports of gunshots at the Legend Sports Bar in Somerset. We can confirm that a firearm was discharged and 4 people were shot. 2 have been confirmed dead. We are asking for anyone who was in the area of the Legend Sports Bar around that time to contact the police at 295-0011, or you could call the Crime Stoppers hotline, or speak to any officer you know.
That's insane, man.
Yeah. Now they're holding a press conference. The BPS confirmed later today, as you'd expect, to hopefully fill in some more of the gaps. But we don't know anything at this point as far as ages of people, genders, just that 4 folks got hit in an enclosed space. It's reasonable to presume, I think, at this stage that each of the 4 victims were not necessarily all targets, which is the thing that is as terrifying as any other part of this process, that folks are trying to kill people or so interested in killing people that they have they're not that concerned about who gets in the way.
No regard for anyone else. Yeah.
And that's different.
Yeah. It's a dangerous space to be in, Teo. I mean, I don't know, it's not a judgment thing, because I think things like this don't just happen, and when I say they don't just happen, I'll use the whole term, the police don't use the term accidents, they use collisions, because it takes actions to lead to what that collision becomes. I don't know how far we go back with this, but I don't think when a baby is born, right, everyone's, oh, how cute, this little cute baby, and they grow. As they grow, they develop personalities and character. I think it's something in it where we need to really study how does one get to a space from birth to the point where it's so easy to take away a life.
Yeah, I mean, there has been a bunch of research done on antisocial behavior, and there are some key indicators, that is to say, people that get involved in this kind of activity typically, and this is not me placing any sort of judgment or informing this my pre-existing bias, this is what the research says: people that come from single parent households. Like, that's just overwhelmingly, if you are a murderer, probably you didn't have both parents. Now, obviously, the vast majority of people from single parent households don't go out to kill people, right? So it's not like a straight one-to-one parallel. But if you grow up in poverty, if you have an unsatisfying school experience, like there are
there's some key indicators,
a constellation of indicators that if you check all these boxes, being engaged in antisocial behavior is just that much more likely. And the problem is adjusting those key indicators on a national level is the kind of problem that none of the countries that we're most related to have figured out a solution to. It's just the case. Like you look at the US, you look in the UK, even a little less so in Canada, but these are the kind of things that are just happening. And I don't know that anybody really knows what to do about it.
Yeah, it's a sad space to be in. What else you got for us? Any good?
Yes, in fact. So yesterday is the start of Mental Health Anti-Stigma Month, which is intended to open minds, shift narratives, and bring mental health challenges out into the open. So we talk about them, understand them, and make some progress with them. Health Minister Kim Wilson opened the event on the steps of City Hall, explaining that the landmark Acute Adult Mental Health Integrated Care Pathway report helped to clarify the importance of this moment.
Many people in our community still do not know where to turn for mental health support, and far too many are being held back by stigma, the fear, judgment, and misunderstanding that surround mental health challenges. One of the report's key recommendations was clear: we must do more to increase public awareness and prevention. So today marks the beginning of that commitment in action.
Now, speaking of mental health, there is, I hope we all understand, a global mental health crisis impacting men and boys specifically that could be a contributor to the kind of tragedy that went down last night in Somerset. Across the developed world, for the first time in recorded history, men are significantly more likely to commit suicide. They're significantly less employed than women, make less money than women, less likely to succeed in higher education than women. And a bunch of these stats apply here in Bermuda in particular. And as president of the American Institute for Boys and Men, Richard Reeves explains, it's partially due to a cultural revolution that is rolling across the planet that has a whole bunch of upsides, but we haven't figured out how to offset the downsides.
Argument, which was really about changing the economic relation between men and women so that women weren't economically reliant on men. That was the central argument of that wave of the women's movement, and very largely achieved. And I would argue that's probably the greatest economic liberation in human history, is still playing out. We need to do more in other parts of the world. But one consequence of that is to then put a big question mark next to the role of men. And what did we replace it with? What's the new script for masculinity? What's the new set of roles? What's the new set of do's that we've got for men? You could argue we've got quite a lot of don'ts, many of which we need, but not a very long list of do's. And so I think that sense of that category being that question mark now, being open, has just left a lot of men feeling adrift.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
I understand him. I think there's truth to what he's saying. I feel like some men do feel like they've been left adrift as well. I feel like when you look, and when I say, I'm speaking specifically about Black men too. When you look at, let's use the Royal Gazette for instance, every time there's someone getting a promotion in the IB sector, you rarely see a Black man. It's mostly white women, Black women. It was one in the newspaper recently where I think it was XXL. There were 5 Black women, and props to them. It's not taken away, but you couldn't name a time you've seen probably 3 Black men promoted in the same article. So I get it. My thing is, it shouldn't have to be one or the other.
Well, see, that I think is the point, right? Because years gone by, particularly for Black folks, there were really narrow life pathways, right? Like you couldn't, like, your ceilings are pretty clear, your walls are pretty clear. You grow up as a little boy, you can do this, or this to feed your family, look after your wife, just look after those responsibilities. And women had even narrower life pathways.
A lot.
Right? Like that was just the requirement. Like you don't even think about being a professional person, having genuine control of your own future economically, especially. Now, the second half of that has wonderfully, just like the fellow was saying, Mr. Reeves, has been addressed, right? Like women are no longer bound up in the same way in these social restrictions. But as he also mentioned, the role of men just hasn't been codified in a new way. Women don't need men like they used to. Like I don't need you to feed me. I don't need you to house me. I can take care of that all by myself. But if your entire identity was bound up in providing those services and they're no longer necessary, then it's like, well, what am I supposed to do now? What am I for?
I think
that question leaves a lot of room for this kind of activity.
I think it's so systemic though. I don't think anything just happens. There's designs, there's blueprints as to how to do things, but that's a conversation we can have for hours, because I was taking a very shallow and surface and kind approach because of the morning we've had.
Oh, I got you. Okay. Well, to segue into some more unambiguously positive news, you got a little bit longer till Friday, May 9th to apply for the annual Public Service Bursary Awards to get money to help pay for school. The bursary awards represent the government's commitment to helping our young people achieve their educational and career aspirations, especially as they run through hard to fill roles within the civil service. These are pretty hefty awards that are valued at $20,000 per year for no more than 5 years, and they apply to a really wide range of roles. So they're definitely worth applying for. Just go to the gov.pm. You'll see the link, and yeah, it's super dope that this stuff is available. Now, the reason these scholarships are that much more necessary for us is because, Jay, I know you understand this. Studying overseas is expensive, like expensive, especially in the U.S., even more especially since the Trump administration just announced that they're going after those people who have not been paying back their piece of the nearly $2 trillion in American student debt. If your American friends or family have been a little sweaty lately, looking grumpy, hard to get them on the phone, just upset, this might be why.
Announced it will work with the Treasury Offset Program, which collects past due debt by withholding payments from the government. Following a 30-day notice, the department will also start garnishing wages for borrowers in default. No federal student loans have been referred for collection since March of 2020, the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Well, I was
out here garnishing wages, bro.
I was talking to someone this week. I don't know if it was you. I'm sorry. I forgot who. It might have been us, actually, the other night at our pizza party. But the American dream was really, if you understand it, it was go to college, get a degree, put yourself in debt, buy a house, put yourself in debt. And so you live the life in debt. That's the way the capitalism works. Joe Biden, to his credit, came along, said, you know what? No, we're going to offset some debt for students. Like, this is no way to live. These things are so systemic, and in order for the few to thrive, and the United States has done a great job of making people believe that it's the greatest country in the world, when so many other countries in Asia, Japan and China, have moved so far ahead of them technologically and the like. But they believe, look, I own this, and they don't. They like, I have this and you don't. You're owned by the system. You're owned by banks. I remember Mr. Simmons coming on here recently and just speaking about, like, we complain about retailers and we complain about, grocery stores and so on, but you never hear Bermudians complain about banks, really.
But no, because I think the premise is accepted. Yeah. Like the sky is blue, the grass is green. I have to be in debt for 40 years to own my home. Right.
But thank you. It's so accepted. And when I was speaking out when we first began the show about buying a house isn't like, we've been so ingrained. I just want us to do one thing, and I'm going to always quote it. Teo knows I love to quote him from 2007. But I just want people to think, man, like, seriously, like it's not normal to live your life in debt to own something.
Well, no, it is normal. That's the problem. Is it productive? Is it satisfying? Yeah.
It shouldn't be normal. It really shouldn't. But we've allowed these things, just like what happened last night, to be like alcohol, become a part of who we are and define us.
Oh, that's a really good way to put it. Again, hopefully this brightens everybody's spirits a little bit. Sky should be pretty bright and clear after we get through this morning's patchy rain and clouds. So we're expected to get plenty of sun, gentle breezes, air temps that continue to steady climb further into the mid 70s. Sunday might feature a passing shower or two, but outside of that, just go out this weekend. Breathe in the good air. Try and center yourself, feel a bit better, because after what happened last night, that will be difficult to do.
Thank you, Tay. Well, real quickly, audience, it is we've got a days of the year for you, and it's in the U.S. National Brothers and Sisters Day. So, Tay, you want to send any love to your siblings this morning?
Of course. Look at that. I got so excited to say her name. I was saying of course, but I said of course, because my baby sister Courtesy and my big brother Jay, I love you both very, very much, and I am endlessly grateful for the two of you. You just made my life better.
Oh, gee. Now I got to say something nice about my sisters. Of
course.
Of course. Anyway, not all three of my sisters, man, I love them. I mean, they doing their thing, and they inspire me to keep trying to be a better brother. So sending love to my siblings. Anybody else want to send any love to their siblings? Well, hopefully you like your siblings too. I know some of you, but hey, in a time when we're having discussions like what we had this morning, family is so important to have to lean on. So Hopefully, happy sibling. I'm going to say siblings, but happy National Brother and Sisters Day to everyone. And Tay, my brother, I will see you next week. Have a good one, bro.
I appreciate you, man. See you soon.
Alrighty. Taylor Dill, folks, if you've appreciated the discussion so far this morning, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. We've got a very special guest coming up. Whoa, brighten that smile. I haven't had my teeth whitened in a while, so I might have to make an appointment myself. Stick around. We've got Keishae Robinson after this short break.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
Hi there, welcome to Medical House. We're located at number 6 Bakery Lane. I can't wait to show you all of the great stuff that we carry. Come on inside, let's see. Long days, long shifts, you no longer have to endure comfortable underwear. Designed by nurses, we now offer premium undergarments by Swoop that are unique, fun, comfortable, and functional. The only underwear you'll ever want to wear. Who says high-quality functional products can be stylish and comfortable at the same time?
See it all at our new expanded location on Bakery Lane.
Attention home renovators and design lovers, your dream space starts here. The brand new Kohler retail showroom at BAC Group is now open, bringing you up to 35% savings on all Kohler products at U.S. manufacturer suggested retail prices. That means no extra fees, no freight, no wharfage, no duty, no document processing fees, just pure cutting-edge Kohler design at unbeatable value. From sleek kitchen and bathroom faucets, vanities, toilets, to statement sinks, walking tubs, and spa-worthy bathtubs, BAC brings innovation and luxury within reach. Visit the BAC showroom on Mill Creek Road today for style, quality, no surprises. Just color from BAC.
Discover Drop It, your go-to grocery delivery. Browse and select from a wide range of groceries, from fresh produce to daily essentials. Our friendly drivers deliver fresh groceries to your door fast, saving you time and hassle. With Drop It, you get fresh groceries delivered fast so you can focus on what really matters. Drop It, freshness at your doorstep, delivered to your door with Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
Dreaming of expanding your business? With BDC's Loan Guarantee Program, we support your ambitions. Get up to 75% guarantee on bank or credit union loans up to $300,000. Just your vision and our support. Apply today and unlock new business opportunities. BDC, Bermuda Business starts here.
Welcome back to The Big Show. I'm Jamal Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Without further ado, we've got a very special guest. We are going to be talking about how she's brightening Bermudian smiles. Let's give a warm TDH welcome to Keishae Robinson. Hello. Welcome.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Love to hear it. So real quickly, before we get into the conversation, do you have any brothers or sisters?
I do. I have one brother and one sister.
But you like them?
I love them, yeah.
Oh, okay. I gotta ask. All right. So, tell us, like, what you want to send them some love? You going to do something nice for them today since it's National Brothers and Sisters Day?
Yes, no, I am.
Oh, no. Okay. You're like me, because I didn't know until I just legit saw it just now.
I heard you guys talking about it. But yes, I do. My brother, my sister, my big brother, my big sister. I'm the baby. I just love them so much. My sister's literally one of my role models in life. She's amazing. So I'm so grateful for her. My brother's been always so supportive. And yeah, so I love them.
So they spoiled you. You're the baby. I get it.
Yeah, they used to tease me a lot, but they did spoil me, yes.
Okay. All right. I wish I was the youngest, but hey, I'm proud of being the only boy. But no, thank you for joining us. It's early, and appreciating our platform enough to appear. But for those who don't know, you've been on the show before, but tell the audience, just the first time tuning in, tell them a bit about your background and what it is that you do.
Okay, so I'm a dental hygienist by trade. I graduated from dental hygiene school in 2015, so 10 years ago almost. I've worked in public health, I've worked in pediatric offices, and at the moment I work in a private office on the island.
All right, cool. She takes care of teeth, folks.
I do, and I love it.
And you also look great. I was told when I was young, right? They used to say, "Hey, man, don't go to a barber if he's bald." I'm like, why not? But
I mean,
someone who's selling what they,
that makes sense.
Yeah, but we're talking about teeth whitening, and I want to understand it. The audience want to understand it. Audience, if you have any questions or comments for Ms. Robinson, please send them through. But what exactly is teeth whitening, and how does it differ from like your regular 6-month dental checkup?
Okay, so when you go into the dental office for your cleanings or your fill-ins or whatever the case may be, that's not a cosmetic procedure. So teeth whitening is more cosmetic. So a question that we get all the time, is it covered by insurance? No, it's not, unfortunately, but it has so many benefits, like as far as your confidence and things like that. So in the space of the dental world, like it's super important. Almost all, if you can, and if it's available to you, you should consider getting your teeth whitened.
But how does it, like, I mean, I've had it done. I'll be very transparent. I've had it done many times.
Okay.
I have in Bermuda and in the US. Haven't had it done in Bermuda for a while, so tell me this morning. But one of the questions people used to ask me is it safe?
I get that question all the time. It is safe. There's tons of research that's been done. What I always tell people is if you can do it professionally, do it professionally. They do have the take-home kits. And they work. They don't work as well, but they do work. But there's a lot of room for error. Like we're human, we don't always read instructions very well. So I always encourage people, like if you can, come in, get your teeth whitened by a professional, and you can ensure that way that it's being done correctly, and you won't have any issues. But as far as the safety aspect of it, it is safe. There is no damage to your teeth. There can be some side effects, but it's nothing that's too crazy. And like I said, if you come into a professional environment, we can kind of teach you and kind of show you the best way to do the procedure to minimize sensitivity.
How long does a typical teeth whitening session take? Like, is it, and how long does it take until people see the results after the session?
Okay, so at Bleach by Keishae, our sessions are 45 minutes to an hour, just depending on, how much we're talking and discussing things, but the actual procedure is 45 minutes. What was your second question? Sorry.
Actually, I think how soon do people see the
results? Yes, so you can see results within the first session. So a lot of people, I have clients who come on a regular basis. They have standing appointments. But results are seen after one session. But depending on your lifestyle, we have our coffee addiction. Some people love a little red wine. If you smoke, things like that, it will make your teeth revert back a little bit quicker. So it's all about lifestyle. And then also some people want their teeth super, super white, so they come in a little more often. Some people are just, trying to brighten them up a little bit. So it's very based on each individual.
And Media Maya, kind of following up on what we're talking about now, she says, how long does the whitening last? But is there one level someone can pick about how white?
No, so you can't choose. So at the beginning, I'll show you a shade guide and we'll actually look at it together. We can kind of see where you're starting. And then on average, you can whiten up to like 3 or 4 shades per session. So we can almost guess where you may end up. Some people end up a little further in the whitening, but some, it just depends. Some teeth are better at absorbing the material, so it just depends. But you can't choose. I would say you can hope, and we can work. So we can say, maybe after 3 sessions, we'll get you where you want to be.
Okay. What you mentioned coffee and wine. What are some other things that lead to like discolored teeth?
Tea is a really big one. People don't really realize that. Fruits, so like berries, blueberries, blackberries, strawberries, curries. That's a big one as well. Tomato-based products, pasta, if you're eating pizza all the time, like barbecue sauces, things like that. Things that are super rich in color, those will affect your teeth.
You just disappointed
Everything
me.
you eat and drink.
I don't eat the pizza, but berries that literally every day. Right?
Yep, that's a big one.
I do the tea, and curry is my favorite.
There's big ones, yep.
Okay, so let's go to the audience. Charles H. Jeffs II. He says, how often should one have it done? Is there a maintenance plan to maintain the brightness?
So we do encourage maintenance because, like I said, naturally your teeth will revert back over time. Depending on your lifestyle, they may revert back a bit quicker. But we do have some people who come in like, hey, I'm getting married next month, or it's a big birthday, so they want to do it that one time. But we do always encourage maintenance because it would just help to keep your smile brighter for longer.
All right. Well, they're asking the questions I had for you, and I love it. Michelle Door's asking, did the materials used eventually weaken your teeth or the enamel? And you kind of touched on it earlier, but please.
No, there is no weakening of your enamel. There can be some sensitivity. That's the most common side effect. But like I said, I have tools and tricks and tips that I can give you to ensure that sensitivity is at a minimal. And not everyone experiences sensitivity. Some people are like, oh, my teeth are totally fine. So it just depends.
All right. Media Maya is asking, does coconut pulling help with brightening teeth?
So I actually haven't done the research on this. But like I said, I'm a dental hygienist. So I do have patients that do it. They're religious about it. And I will say that their teeth and their gums are healthy, but it could just be because they pay attention to the oral hygiene. So I tried it and I got to like 3.5 minutes, and because it's 20 minutes every day, I couldn't do it. So
you did answer this earlier, but sometimes some people tune in a bit late. But Shonette Bell was asking, is it covered by insurance? And you explain it's cosmetic. So
it's not. No, unfortunately, it's not. It's cosmetic. So that's the downside. But it's an investment. Think of it as an investment into yourself, into your smile, into your confidence. And we have to invest in ourselves, and so I think that's important.
Okay. I want to ask the audience something real quickly while you're here. Audience, yes or no, have you ever had your teeth whitened? Yes or no, have you had your teeth whitened? You mentioned that some people come like just for a wedding, if they get married, stuff like that. Who should be interested in getting their teeth whitened?
Anybody. There are scenarios where you shouldn't or you can't have your teeth whitened. I can touch on those if you like, but any adult, there's no real restrictions other than pregnancy. Pregnancy is a big one. You shouldn't whiten while you're pregnant. If you have anterior restorative work, so like crowns, and anterior meaning your front teeth, crowns or bridges, implants, those things won't change. The shade of those materials won't change. So if they already match your teeth, then it's not recommended that you whiten your natural teeth, because then there'll be a discrepancy in the shade.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense.
I mean, back crowns and things like that, it's fine because we're not whitening all the way back there anyway. But those front ones, if they're already a good match, I would say, and they're healthy and they're strong, just leave them alone.
Okay. We asked just now, has anyone in the audience had their teeth whitened? Media Maya says no. Renee Simmons said yes. Suzanne Ingham said no. Karen Simmons said no. Shonette Bell said no. Nicole Walker said no. Horton said no. So we're going to have to... We've got an opportunity this morning.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Charles H. Jeffs II asked, is there standard pricing or does it vary per person? Like someone, you might need more work. Like how does that work?
So I have a standard price, but I do have tiers. So if you come in for your initial appointment, you may get a discount on your second. We have a loyalty program. So the more often you come, the more of a discount you'll get each time.
Okay. He has another question. Follow up. Charles, you're really interested, man. He says, is there such a thing as having your teeth too white?
I think that's something that you have to ask yourself. Personally, I do think that there is such a thing. And I'll say this, I've never seen natural teeth that I think are too white. But you know how people get those veneers?
Yes.
And they look a little crazy?
Yeah.
Those are the ones. But I've never seen natural teeth where I thought, oh my goodness, those are too white. Never.
All right. Keishae, I mean, if someone wants to reach out to you to brighten their smile today, like how can they get in touch?
So I have an Instagram page at bleached.bykeish. Email bleachedbykeish@gmail.com. We have a booking site where you can go on and actually book your appointments. So yeah, email, social media, Facebook, all the things.
One quick question before you help. So let's say someone doesn't necessarily have good hygiene, good dental health, they don't floss. Are they still able to like get teeth whitening procedures, or would you recommend they get a cleaning first?
Absolutely. That's a really, really good question. I'm glad you mentioned that. So because I'm a dental hygienist, my first priority is the health of your teeth. So I've turned away many people because I just didn't feel comfortable because of the condition and the state of their mouth. I mean, I'll welcome them back after they've gone to the dentist and had a full checkup, had their teeth cleaned, because these are people who haven't been to the dentist in years, right? And it's so funny because when I'm at work every day, I ask people, do you have any concerns with your teeth? And the number one thing that people say, I just want to get them white. But they have, cavities and things that are just more important that we should address first. So I understand, everyone wants to have that amazing bright white smile, but the health of your teeth is more important to me, especially. So I'm always gonna, advocate for you to go to the dentist first if necessary, and then you can always come back and see me afterwards.
I'm gonna be honest, I follow her on Twitter and I'm like, she inspired me to get my first water pick last year. And changed my life, seriously. Like,
yeah, I love it.
But speak to that, because let's keep it real. I mean, we're a community of honest people in here. A lot of people don't floss.
You're right, they don't. How
does it impact like the health of our teeth? And we're speaking about teeth whitening, which is honestly, I'm gonna tell you guys honestly, I didn't do that for anyone but myself, because I have to look at myself in the mirror every day, and you all have to look at me. So I really do take pride in my overall dental health. But like, flossing was something that I literally would be rushing and forget to do, daily. Like, I would only do it if I had popcorn or chicken stuck in my teeth. But how important is it to the overall health of one's teeth? And are there alternatives to like the string or whatever it's called?
Yeah, for sure. So I think the issue that we struggle with as a community with flossing is that growing up, it was always brush your teeth, brush your teeth, brush your teeth. So we've all been, it's been ingrained that we need to brush our teeth, but for whatever reason, it was never brush your teeth and floss. So now as we've gotten older, flossing is just it's not second nature. So it's something we have to train ourselves to do. But it's so important. So when you think about your teeth, you're gonna take me down a rabbit hole. When you think about your teeth have 5 surfaces, right? Each tooth has 5 surfaces. And your toothbrush can only reach 3. So those in-between areas, in between your teeth, your toothbrush isn't reaching. And even though you don't feel the popcorn, it may not be popcorn, it may not be the chicken, but I promise you there's stuff in between your teeth. There's food, there's plaque, there's bacteria. And so if you're just leaving it, it starts off small, like, your gums get inflamed, they bleed, they swell. But if that continues, that's gingivitis, that's reversible, and that's fine. But if we leave that for too long, it leads to other things, periodontal disease, which is like bone loss and eventual tooth loss. So that is the issue. So that's why it's so important to clean those other 2 surfaces, because if you don't, it's long road ahead.
I'm glad you went down there. But the other thing I added last year as well was the electric toothbrush.
Okay.
And we have someone asking, Michelle Doors asking, do the Proxa brushes reduce the need to floss?
Absolutely. And some people, those interdental or proxy brushes, they're actually more beneficial than flossing. So you can always speak to your dental care professional to kind of find out which is better for you, whether it's traditional string floss, whether it's the water pick, whether it's those interdental brushes. Because if you have the bigger gaps in between your teeth, traditional string floss may not be the best thing for you. So I think it's super important for your professionals to kind of guide you and show you, like, maybe this isn't the best option for you. Try this.
Yeah. So with my water pick that you inspired me to get, is it replacing floss or is it an addition to floss?
So I'll be honest, I water pick every day. I do. It's my favorite tool. I probably use traditional string floss 3 times a week. So there are studies that say it can replace, but there are studies that say it doesn't replace. But for me, I know my teeth, right? So I know what works for me, and this is why I'm saying it's so important to talk to your professionals, because they'll be the ones to be able to guide you and kind of let you know what's the best option for you. But water picks are amazing. They get deeper underneath your gums than any sort of floss will ever get. So it's only gonna be beneficial.
How about the what I use the electric toothbrush?
Oh yeah, electric toothbrushes are amazing. They work really, really well. But I will say, if you're not using them properly or how you're supposed to, then they're not going to do the job. So yes, it's doing the brushing motion for you, which is great. But if you're only in there for 30 seconds as opposed to the full 2 minutes, you're not going to get the results that you need. So again, like, the tools are amazing to have, but it's also the way we use them. So I always tell people, it's your technique, it's your tools, and it's your time. Like, those are the 3 T's. They're super important. But yeah, electric toothbrushes are great. Manual toothbrushes are great as well. You just have to use them properly.
I didn't know how to use the electric toothbrush when I first got it, so I didn't use it. Like, it legit set like for about 2 months, and then when I went for my 6-month checkup, they said you got to let the brush do the works. You don't. And I didn't. Silly me.
You're double brushing, and that can cause injury to your gum tissue. So
I didn't even realize. And again, that some people might be like, seriously, yeah, that slowed you out. But I'm being honest with you, like it wasn't something I was used to. We've got a question from Charles H. Justice II. He was asking, where are you located? But I can't find it. Yeah. Oh, here you are. Where are you located?
So my whitening studio is located in Hamilton, inside of Treehouse, on Trot Road, which is just across the street from the Parlerville parking lot. And we are open. We do evenings, we do Saturdays, Fridays, Saturdays. So yeah.
I was there for yoga this week.
Right.
I got a double. Yes. I could have got a double.
Second floor.
We've got some. See, Miss Ellen Kate says nothing better than a water pick.
I agree, Miss Ellen Kate. I love my water pick.
I love it and all, but I do have one complaint. I'm a clumsy guy. So when I first use, and I forget sometimes, when I use it pretty much daily, by the way, folks. But when I use it, I always forget if there's still water in it and I pull up, it's going all over my, sink and everything. And so you got to be very, very smart when you.
There is a little bit of a learning curve, especially at the beginning, but you get used to it, or you'll get used to it.
Charles is asking a silly question. He's asking, if your dentist or hygienist doesn't have good oral health, should you run away? Don't answer that. We've got Renee Simmons said that water flossing instrument is my next investment. Can it be sensitive to your teeth, and which use is preferred, cold water or warm? Please, thank you.
That's actually a really good question. So if your teeth are sensitive, use warm water. It's not going to make a difference. It's only going to be more comfortable for you. So yeah, definitely use warm. There's no difference in the job that it'll do. I would say start on a low pressure, and as you get more used to it, you can increase the pressure.
Yeah, thanks for that question, because for me, it was very ticklish at first. Like, it was like, and I was like, oh, I don't think it's supposed to feel like this. But yes, the pressure, I always wondered, should it be cold or warm water as well? But I prefer warm for me. Yeah.
My teeth are sensitive, so I use whatever comes out of the tap, to be honest. But yeah.
Just remind people, because it's been about 2 minutes and they've forgotten. How can they get in touch with you? Instagram, email?
Yeah, we have Instagram, bleach@bleach.bykeish, Facebook, Bleach by Keishae. I have email, bleachbykeish@gmail.com. We also have a booking site, which is on all of our social media, so you'll be able to find us. And like I said, we're located inside of Treehouse on Trot Road in Hamilton.
This has been awesome. This is one of my favorite conversations about teeth. Honestly, I love talking about teeth.
I can talk about teeth all day. It's terrible.
Yeah, and keep sharing on Twitter ads, because that's where I got don't start charging us for it. Don't start charging. I promise I'll get my teeth whitened with you, right? But no, I appreciate you. I really do. I appreciate you helping to help people have better and healthier smiles. I mean, I learned something last year that Bad oral health can lead to so many other things.
I was just gonna say, can I just say one more thing? Like, there's such a huge link between your oral health and your overall health. Like, there's a huge link between oral health and diabetes. So it's just super important to just heart disease. Like, it's just so important, and people don't realize. They're like, oh, whatever, and it's like, oh, what's the saying? A little pink in the sink or something like that. It's fine. It's not fine. Like, your gums should not bleed. Healthy gums don't bleed. So just think about it. Like, if you cut your finger and it's just bleeding, you're not just gonna let it bleed, you know? So you don't just let your gums bleed. It's not normal. It's not what it's supposed to be doing. So I just like to remind people, like, your oral health is so important, and it's a huge link to your overall health.
Indeed. Thank you so much, stranger. We tried to get on last year, talk about it. She ain't had time for us, folks, but I'm glad.
Stop it.
I'm glad to remember this and said, I'm ready. But thank you so much, Keishae.
Thank you. I really appreciate this opportunity. It was amazing.
You might see me next week. All right.
All right.
Talk soon.
Thanks.
All right. Keishae Robinson, folks, if you appreciate that conversation, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share the conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues. We're going to take a final break, and then we'll come back. This is the easiest daily play question you would have had so far in 2025, and you don't want to miss it. Stick with us.
April is National Child Abuse Prevention Month. Children depend on every single caring adult in our community to make sure they are safe from sexual harm. Keeping them safe not just in April, but every day. Whether you're a parent, a guardian, a grandparent, an aunt, an uncle, or a caregiver, we ask that you take just 3 hours out of your busy schedule to learn what you can do to make sure the precious children in your life are protected. They are worth it. Join the SCARS certified adults by simply visiting our website to sign up for a free SCARS training session. Learn about online and body safety, how to protect them, and how to respond if they are harmed. This information is vital to their well-being and their future. Because they are children, it is our responsibility, Bermuda, to protect them. Visit scarsbermuda.com and learn what you can do to help the child in your life stay safe.
Looking for the best care for your pets? Novazark Feed and Supply has everything you need, from top quality foods to toys and supplies. We've got it all. Join our frequent buyer program and earn rewards every time you shop. Plus, we've been awarded the Clever Customer Initiative program for helping you save more. And don't forget, we open an hour early on Saturdays so you can get a head start on your pet care. Visit us today or shop online for easy pickup or delivery. Your pets will thank you.
BAC's new color showroom is now open. Throughout April, for every $50 spent, your name will be entered to win great raffle prizes. Come learn from BAC, where luxury meets affordability.
Alrighty, welcome back to the Big Show. Thanks again to Keishae Robinson, Bleach by Keish. Folks, go check out, hit her up, follow her on social media. Honestly, she really has influenced my decisions then. So I follow people that inspire me to want to live and do better. So appreciate her very much. Also, thanks again to the BAC group of companies, Medicals, Lindos, and Peoples for ensuring we can have these conversations with you on a regular basis. Folks, if you haven't already, make sure you give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Please share the conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues. It's time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. All right, here we go. It's a things you should know, and it's possibly the easiest. And you all are going to agree with me when you hear this question, and you're going to tell me whether or not it was the easiest daily play we've had in 2025. Here is your question. Who preceded David Burt as Bermuda's finance minister? My goodness, yeah, Curtis Dickinson. You all had to type it out. Yes, it was Dickinson. Curtis Dickinson. Yes, Dickinson. Karen Simmons, Rosalind Famous, Renee Simmons, Sheldon Fox, Curtis Day. I like that nickname. Nicole Walker. Was that not the easiest? Didn't I tell you it's going to be? Even my friend Suzanne didn't have to say Jamal was today, right? You know, was that not the easiest daily played so far this year, folks? You're talking about the first time. We're talking about second time around, Charles. This time, Curtis Dickinson preceded David Brett this time around. I knew you were going to be difficult. But was that not the easiest? Was that not the easiest? I try to give you an easy one. Now, I could have made it a trick question like Charles did just now. No, Bob Richards did precede David Brett as the finance minister when the PLP first won in 2017, but as current finance minister, it was Curtis Dickinson. So there could be an argument the way I asked the question. If we went to court and it was a prize up, they'd have a case because I didn't say current. Yeah, I didn't say current. So yeah. Folks, let's wrap it up. These conversations are never easy, you know, especially when you have such a, you know, special guest like Keishae, a person who literally, the title of today's show is Brightening Bermudian Smiles, and we have to wake up to such tragic news. Look, I put a post up the other day, you know, had a conversation with one of my good friends and my brother, and we had dinner last year, and you know, I really mean this. You know, you all may think that I'm hard on the government and hard on people and so on. I just want accountability. But at the end of the day, I try to approach everyone in love. Like I really do. Like I don't want to enter a space filled with hate or dislike for anyone. I just want everyone to treat each other with respect and come into other spaces where people are with love. Right? That's what I want for our community. I want us to approach things with a certain level of love and respect for one another. You know, I'm not entering, I'll go to a bar to have me a ginger ale. I'm not entering that bar with hate in my heart for somebody. You know, I want to go in there and I want to have some fellowship and talk about sports and talk about life and love and family. I think we can do that. We shame old Bermuda so much that we forget what was good about old Bermuda. In the words of current Premier David Brett, about 15 years ago, he said to me, Jamal, not all laws are bad laws. And he was right. He was absolutely right. And in saying that, not all things that happened in old Bermuda were bad. And us as a community and collectively, we need to figure out what are the good things back then that we can bring into modern day Bermuda, today's Bermuda, that can help us have a sense of love for one another and respect for one another to the point that we don't have to wake up to hear things like what was reported this morning. Thoughts and prayers can seem so empty to grieving people. And I know it's done with sincerity. But I'm going to tell you that we need more action. We need more love. We can't continue the way we're going. Not as a small town and small community. We've got to do better. And we can do better. But it's on all of us. It's on all of us. I'll leave you with this, your daily inspiration. Our community is defined not just by the laws of the land, but by the people that exist in the land and how they respond to the laws of the land. Think about that. They say if you know something, say something. Because if you do know something and you don't say something, please understand you're an accomplice to the actions of those who are committing these heinous crimes. It's time to say it, but folks, don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy, for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you on Monday. I'm Jamal Hartman. Please do make it a safe and a great weekend. We are out. Peace.